Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
No matter how much things change, they kind of stay the same. And at number 72, we have the ever-evolving NFL cycle, Trent Taylor. Part of the original Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch draft back in 2017, was with the 49ers for 4 years, fan favorite, George Kittle's bestie, all that fun stuff. He leaves, gone for 3 years, and now he's back. And is he going to make the roster? We'll see. There's a clear path for it to take place. It's going to take place in special teams in the punt returning job. But, you know, we're looking at the highest rank that he received was 70 overall out of 4 separate ballots. The lowest was 81 on this 91, roster countdown for 2024. So the upside play just not really there. But talk about knowing the system, being an experienced vet, and a wide receiver room, which is still very, very young. I understand Debo's in his second contract. I understand Ayuk's going into his 5th year. You add 2 more rookies. You got Ronnie Bell. You got Danny Gray. It's still a young wide receiver room. There's not a strong veteran presence. Trent Taylor could be that. Now, he comes in wearing jersey number 19. He took Debo's old jersey. He's 5'8", 178. We don't really have Jacob Cowing's small, but he's a burner. Trent Taylor ran a 4.6 8 years ago, 4.63. It is impressive that Trent Taylor's going into his 8th year. If you would have asked me at the end of 2020, his 4-year rookie deal was up. He had back issues. It just seemed like the writing was on the wall. But he's been able to hang around, and I love it because, you go back to his tape at Louisiana Tech. My show started 2017. So Trent Taylor in that draft class, I remember vividly just how tough this dude was. I mean, he was a baller. And so he's been able to keep that even through the injuries, even through losing a step. He's 30 years old. Small wide receiver that's going to find his, place in the NFL. He'll be on a team. It's going to be as a punt returner and backup slot wide receiver. That's kind of what he's going to be. Now, if we go back to the time before Kyle Shanahan drafted him in the 5th round out of Louisiana Tech. Born in Tennessee, went to Louisiana Tech, was a 3-star recruit. And again, like the mentality, the persona, his dad, Greg, played linebacker for Western Kentucky. So you're raised by that. You come out 5'8", 170. Like, all right. Multi-sport athlete, all-state baseball player, track, long jump. I mean, he just did a lot of different stuff that, the athleticism and just being well-rounded as an athlete and mentality, that is what has kept him around. And again, listen to some of these college stats that he put up at Louisiana Tech. First in school history in career receptions with 327. Second in receiving yards, 4,179 and 32 touchdowns. Dude was all over the place. First team All-Conference USA. I mean, he was a stud. Now, let's jump forward in the DeLorean to what he did in 2023. Not great. From an offensive standpoint, he had 2 targets, 0 catches. He was just a punt returner. Now, even if you look at his punt return status, you lose a lot of the juice that he used to have. Averaged a 59.6 punt return grade on PFF. Now, if you just look at what he was able to accomplish last year and in his career as a punt returner, because again, if Trent Taylor makes this roster, it's because he's the starting punt returner week 1. That's the pathway. And now there might be a possibility where he doesn't make the 53. They put him on the practice squad and promote him, kind of like what we've seen with Willie Snead, kind of like what we've seen with Chris Conley. Like that could be that veteran presence that gets promoted up into that spot. He's had 123 career punt returns, which is a considerable amount. He's averaged 9.5 yards per return over his career with only 3 muff punts. That's the selling point. If you want electric playmaking punt return ability, Trent Taylor ain't it. If you still are woken up in the middle of the night with cold sweats thinking Kyle Williams and seeing number 10 back there, well, then Trent Taylor's your guy. 3 muffed punts and 123 punt returns is stellar. So safe. And again, Kyle Shanahan, what does he do with special teams? Safe. Has not attempted one fake punt in his entire coaching career. He just wants to get his offense on the field and let them do their thing. Well, Trent Taylor feeds into that. Now, if we just look at his last year, Trent Taylor's last year punt returning ability, he was 27th on yards per punt return with 8.2 yards. Not good. That's bottom 5 across starters. However, it was better than Ray McCloud. Ray had 8.1, Trent Taylor 8.2 yards per return. So you're getting a way cheaper deal. Vet minimum deal. And you're kind of getting the same that you got last year with less fumbles. I'd prefer Ray, obviously. I think all 32 teams in the NFL would. But it's a cheaper option and a safer option with a little bit less sweetener, if that makes sense. He's only got 9 career kickoff returns, but with the new added kickoff return rule, who knows? Maybe you put him back there because the new kickoff return rule is a little bit more like a punt return than it used to be. And so who knows how that's going to go. And the pathway is set. Can he do something to prove he belongs as a wide receiver? Now, whenever he was with us for his 4 years, here's his career totals, okay? 87 receptions, 834 yards, 3 touchdowns. Not great. But he can move the chains, and he's going to be where you need him to be, and he catches almost everything. He was with us for his 4-year rookie contract, 2017 to 2020. Then he went and got paid for Cincinnati as a punt returner / slot guy, backup slot guy, 2021, 2022. Was with the Bears last year as a punt returner again. Foot and back problems, all that kind of stuff. The Niners bring him back home, sign him on a 1-year vet minimum deal, $1.1 million. 0 guaranteed dollars. That's the killer. So if the 49ers don't like what they see, cost them nothing. There is no financial tie to Trent Taylor this year. Now, if we look at what he's made for his career, hats off to him. $5.4 million career earned for Trent Taylor. And again, this dude's going into year 8. He's as a 5th-round pick, that's pretty damn special. And so hats off to him. So let's look at just the wide receiver depth chart. Again, I don't think this is really where he makes his claim on this roster. The 49ers keep 5 to 6 wide receivers and the locks. You got Ayuk, Debo, Jennings, Ricky Pearsall, Jacob Cowing. That's 5 right there. Guaranteed to make the roster. Then the next tier, I think there's 3 guys fighting for that final spot. Danny Gray, Ronnie Bell, rookie last year, and Chris Conley, who's got meaningful snaps in the Super Bowl and was awesome. He can play all the wide receiver spots. Then the next tier that's fighting for a practice squad spot, Trent Taylor, Tay Martin, and Tariq Owens. Most likely, probably gets cut and might get brought to the practice squad just to get elevated for week 1 or week 2. Or let's say we put Danny Gray back there, or Ricky Pearsall, or Ronnie Bell. They struggle the following week, they promote him up. I think we will see a couple games this year due to injuries or special teams issues where Trent Taylor will be on the active roster. Do I think that he makes the initial 53? I do not. He comes in at number 72 on this countdown for a reason. However, I think we're going to see number 19 in a smaller version. Not the bulked up Debo, but the 5'8", 178, 30-year-old slot wide receiver punt returner, Trent Taylor. Fun player then, fun player now. Can't wait to see him in training camp. It's going to be fun. His energy is infectious, and I want to see if he's been able to keep that since the last 3 years he's been away from us. So this was a fun one. I really enjoyed doing this one. And got to say thank you to Josh, Dave, Oscar, Zach, the producers of this entire series. And for us, we'll just keep counting them down.